Felicity. And, the historicals, well, with the exceptions of the ones that I just finished making the videos on, they really haven't had any outfits for the spring or the summer. Any doll that I finished, of course, before Christmas, I had winterish fabrics or all seasons fabrics, and all the other ones kind of had some lightweight fabrics. So Felicity was stuck in her Christmas gown pretty much till about February when I decided to take it off. But I had nothing else to put her in except for her meet dress and her school outfit. So here it is, August, and just now I'm getting around to clothing her. And she is wearing her shift. That's actually the American Girl brand shift. And the corset. Now this corset is not quite appropriate for her period. She would be wearing the Georgian stays, except I haven't made any yet for her period. So at some point I'll get around to making stays in particular for her. Before someone mentions it, I do know that she had an undergarment set complete with stays, a pannier, and I'm trying to remember what else she had with pockets, I believe, except that set is long gone, and when you can find it, it's dangerously expensive. So there's like 15 reasons why so, and that is one of them. So here's what happened. I didn't record any of this because these are like long processes, and they would be really long videos. Though, if you are actually interested in seeing like a whole video, like a whole 35 minutes of how I'm doing this, I'll be more than happy to make it. It's really long, and what winds up happening is I wind up cutting it to these pieces. So it's great for me to work on my editing skills, but I don't know. At any rate, I decided that I wanted to make her work dress. I was going to repeat the work dress, which is not at all what happened. So I decided I didn't want to do that, and I went looking through all the patterns that are all over Etsy. Couldn't really decide that I wanted to do any of those either. So I figured that I've been taking these classes on constructions of gowns and, watching all these videos. I figured at this point I should be able to construct a gown based on diagrams or modifying existing patterns that I already have. So I had the English gown, I had the round gown, and I didn't really like any of the patterns that I already had, and also they just didn't really fit Felicity. They were made for the small American Girl dolls, and they needed to be modified. And Felicity's stuff, well, the Williamsburg jacket is like really spot on, but her gown isn't quite, well, the Christmas gown is, but her like meet outfit is not really quite spot on. So I wanted to make it a bit more historical as much as you possibly can, because it would just, sometimes it would be complicated for the dolls and the way they measure. So what I actually did was I took her Christmas dress and I modified it to be a bit more like an English gown with the front closing. I'll show you what happened. Okay, so I wish I brought the Christmas gown out for a comparison. When you look at the Christmas gown, what it does is on the front panels, it cuts down across the bodice and kind of like a little narrow V shape, connects to the two sides, and you have the space for the stomacher in the middle, and you pin the two sides over top of the stomacher, which is a very legit gown. It really is. It's just not appropriate for like children for the age she would be. And so I wanted to make it a bit more like it would be for, that age appropriation. Also, just for this particular style. This style is a front closing style. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So what I did was I took the stomacher, laid it down where the dress would cover it. So the stomacher would be about right here. And I laid the pattern for the stomacher on top of the pattern for the front of the bodice. Here's the bodice front, and it doesn't completely cover the front on both sides, and this gap is left open. And so what you normally do is take the pinner, or take the the stomacher. That's what I'm trying to say. You take the stomacher, you insert it in, and you pin it down to the bodice area. And of course, that was one of the ways that women could get several different looks from a gown by just changing out the stomacher, which I think is like absolutely ingenious. Now, the difference with the round gown is that you have, it's kind of like half a stomacher piece that comes about halfway to the chest, and those two pieces meet in the middle, and the gown is pinned down the middle of the front. So basically what I did is I took the pattern for the bodice front, and I kind of got a feel for where the stomacher would tuck under, where they would overlap at, and about how far it needed to be out to be a halfway point. And I just put them together at the notch and then created the edge down here. So you can see this piece here. And that's essentially what it looks like, basically. And that became my new bodice front. And everything else stayed the same. Secondly, what I wanted on this particular dress is the sleeve ruffle. Now, it has this name, and I don't actually know what the origin of this name is, so whether I should pronounce it, in the way you pronounce things in English, or whether it has a French pronunciation, or what have you. So I'm just going to put the name of it on the bottom so you can see. And if anybody can tell me whether it is pronounced English style or French, let me know, because I did take quite a few years of French. So I could pronounce it French way. I could pronounce it just English way, like the whole pannier thing. So I don't know. But at any rate, there's sleeve ruffles. And it's the same sleeve ruffles that are on her meat dress. I really like them. I mean, the ruffled ruching on her cuff and the lace bit that's on her Christmas gown, I like that too, but I really prefer these sleeve ruffles. And this is how I did it. So I've been taking this class, or I took this class about scaling dress patterns last week. It was really cool. And what I did was I just kind of looked up sleeve ruffle on Pinterest, and I got pictures of several sleeve ruffles. It shows you pretty much the outline and the shape you need to make in order to make the sleeve ruffle. So I measured around this cuff so I could figure out what the circumference of this particular cuff was. And then what I did is I measured the width of the ruffle in certain places. The width of the ruffle where it began at, where it ended at, and then the width some places in between. So I drew a line for the length that I needed it to be. And then at certain points in the length, I drew a line to match where the length of the ruffle from the edge to edge. And I wound up with this shape. It's pretty basic, simple shape. You could put all kind of ruffles, however you want to do it. There's several examples of how to make the ruffle. And then basically, there are two ruffles here, one on the top, one on the bottom. And when you measure them, they are actually the same width. It's just that one is higher up than the other, so that you get these ruffles at the top here. And then it looks kind of offset and gives you this ruffle down at the bottom. And that's pretty much what I did. I traced out 4 of them. I've got it in the dress fabric and the contrasting color, and I just simply raised the placement. It's almost at the placement where the stitching for the decorative cuff would be on the original Christmas gown pattern. So one down here at the edge and the other one higher up. And it produced this really cool sleeve. I'm so tempted to put these sleeves on my own shirts. You'll probably see in the next couple months me making shirts people size with these sleeves on. I just really like them. All right, and basically that's all for the modifications that I made for the dress. Felicity's meat dress has a ruffle on the neck, and Felicity's Christmas dress also has a ruffle on the neck. But I decided I didn't want the ruffle on the neck, and I don't know. I may edit later, I may not, depends. I've also seen some round gowns where there is a ruffle here in the center of the gown, and that allows you to kind of hide the fold. And I may do that as well. We will see. All right, there we go. I put the light on the camera so you can see that better. So I may revisit this gown and put the ruffle on it. Also, on this particular gown, I did not add any lining, mostly because I was experimenting. The next couple ones I make, I will definitely have lining on them. I did, however, add the facing to the bottom of the dress. So it does have facing at the bottom. Okay, so now to Felicity here. You see Felicity, of course, this is her shift that came with her meat outfit. She is wearing a corset. It's not quite for her century, but it's the only corsets I'm making at the moment. At some point, I will get around to making the corsets for her century. And she has on the socks. She does not have her garters on yet. Kind of forgot about them. I'll put them on. And this is her underskirt. I made the underskirt in a contrasting color because that's also historically accurate, and I just wanted a contrasting color. Also, this flower pattern is nice. I've used it before several times, but I have a issue with patterns. It makes my eyes feel really busy, and so I usually try to avoid them, especially flower patterns. So for my own sake, I didn't want the flower pattern to match for the underskirt. I needed an eye break, so it seemed like a great idea to use a contrasting color. Now let me put this on her. I seem to be out of stands, and I find that so shocking because I don't know how I got this many dolls. I mean, I think my bank account knows how I got this many dolls, but it just seems like amazing that I would have enough dolls that I am currently out of stands. So I need to go and get some more. And I actually finally got around to restringing several dolls, and Felicity was one of them. So she'll stand much better than she did before, but still she won't be able to stand with me putting clothes on. I always feel so bad when I twist that arm. Okay, there we go. Yes, of course, if you're wondering, there are slits for pockets. Of course, I made slits for pockets. You know how much I love pockets. I didn't make the pockets yet. They're over there in the pile ready to be cut, the pattern. So at some point she will eventually have pockets to go with this outfit. Might as well have pockets for every outfit. And she's the only one, until I get Elizabeth, she's the only one who gets pockets. So I'm going to enjoy them thoroughly. All right, so let me pull her. I'm going to pop her off real quick so that I can pull this tightly closed. And then you will see why I might have wanted to use a ruffle. Okay, so here she is back again. Only took a second. And this would be tucked in properly. And you can see how wide the neckline is. So I do have a fichu somewhere. So I could tuck a fichu in that space in order to cover it. Let's see if I can find it really quickly. Or I could have had a ruffle. That would have been pretty cool too. She should be wearing some type of cap, which is definitely in here somewhere. Before, you know, I had like a few dolls and a few items. And now it's getting to be a bit much. So I have to actually try to figure out where is everything. Okay, so I really don't see a fichu in there. I don't know where that went. All right, anyway, she could have a fichu on, and that would help cover this for modesty in the daytime. Or she could have the ruffle, and that would help cover it too. And these pretty much just pins right in. And I think a lot of people think, when they think about these pins, that they're kind of scary, and they're wondering how these women walk around with these straight pins and not poking themselves. But you have to remember, they had this kind of heavy corset on, and I don't mean heavy as weight, I mean heavy as thickness of material. And so when you stick the pins in, the corset protected your body from the pins, so you wouldn't even feel it, basically. So it's not really a big deal. And it would pin right in. There are some dresses where there is a flap on either side here, and there would be hooks and eyes that would hold it together. So I think what I'm going to do, I haven't decided yet, is I'm going to put a strip in here to stiffen it, and I'm going to insert the hooks and eyes basically the same way they are for the corset here, so that this dress will hook and eye together. That would be really cool. All right, pretty much that's where I'm at with Felicity's dress. I'm going to go ahead and make the fichu because I can't seem to find it. I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? Got a little avalanche going on there. The fichu is here with the other round gown. Here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck that in her. And you're going to have some pictures at the end of this video with her and her fichu. Look at this adorable little cap. That's just so cute. All right, so I got Felicity down. It's time to move on to the fall and Christmas gowns. By the time you see this video, it'll be well into September, but it's only the second week of August right now. You can see I'm pretty far behind in video making, but it'll be time for the fall and Christmas gowns. So I have to decide what I'm going to do about the historicals and Christmas. I'm thinking that they will all get some type of Christmassy gown in one of their historical pattern styles. We'll see how it goes. What I did last year, they were just all in dresses I already made for them, so I didn't make them anything new for Christmas. But we're getting up to almost the full list of historicals. I'm really just missing Elizabeth and Ivy, and by the time you watch this video, I probably will have Elizabeth, and then that's the other girl. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. All right, thank you for watching. As always, thanks to my subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and share with your friends. Oh, and make sure to click the like button so that YouTube knows you like my video, and I can get more views. That would be great. Makes me feel happy. Put some comments down below. Let me know what you think about Felicity's ensemble. If you have any questions about it, if you have something you would like me to make, I'll move along and get to that. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.